All right. Hi guys. Welcome to today's video. I'll be walking us through how to use Google Doc, and this video is going to be it's for educational purpose, and it's just for you to know how to use Google in an advanced way. You use Google in a way that you are able to narrow your search, right? So let's dive into what Google Docking is. All right. So let's start with what is information gathering. Okay. Now you could recall that we talked about the 5 stages of hacking. That's reconnaissance, which is also information gathering, scanning, gaining access, maintaining access, and clearing of tracks. Now you see these 5 phases are what both the good guys and the bad guys use. Okay, that is the good hackers and the white hat, or the black or the white hat hackers. They both use them. Now, what differentiates a black hat from a white hat is the ability to find vulnerabilities without having any malicious intentions about what they've discovered. Okay, that's what gives a white hat hacker edge over a black hat hacker. And we already talked about the 5 stages of pen test, which is totally different from the 5 stages of hacking. We said information gathering, service enumeration, gaining access, exploitation, and recommendation and reporting. Okay, so these are the stages you are expected to do as a pen tester. Okay, so let's look at what is the first stage of ethical hacking. That is the methodology. So as an attacker, you need to gather much information about your target as possible. Now, the information you have on your target is going to create a leverage for you to be able to know or identify the weakest link of your target. Now, for example, you know your target prefers a particular kind of, let's say, music, or a particular kind of club, or a particular kind of theme more than others. Now you identify that what a particular, that is, an individual likes the most is likely to be the weakest link of that individual. Okay, or let's say, for example, a company. If you know that a company is into digital marketing and anything regarding how to boost marketing, how to improve their marketing strategy is what the leverage. Now, as an ethical hacker, it is expected that you gather enough leverage, that is information about your target, okay, on how you can best exploit them. So take, for example, the digital marketing company. You can look at how you can exploit them. So that's where we talk about social engineering. So social engineering may be employed as part of this phase. That is, you try to exploit the human weakness. Take, for example, one of the digital marketers of a particular company. You try to exploit how, like, for example, you could send a phishing email, or you could do a smishing or a vishing to one of them, posting at someone else. Okay, there are different techniques of social engineering, field gating, dumpster diving. So we'll be talking about all these social engineering aspects later on. But let's look at how can we use Google. You know, when you tell a layman what is the internet, or when you ask someone who is just a normal user of the internet, and you ask them what is the internet, their definition of the internet is likely to be Google, because Google provide wide services ranging from a lot of services that help us to be able to do a lot of stuff. Okay, it provides a lot of services for us. Okay, so you could just leverage on any information you've gathered about your target. Now, we'll be talking about the series of social engineering, as I've said earlier. So let's look at the type of, or the phases of information gathering. Now, when you hear information gathering, just know we're talking about reconnaissance. Okay, and it's divided into two. We have the active and passive reconnaissance. Okay, active and passive reconnaissance. Let me change my slide. So active focus on the type of footprinting. Okay, let me just take it from here. So what is footprinting? Now, if you ask, footprinting is similar to reconnaissance, okay? But I think they have difference. So I think you could, I'm just going to give you a task. Just check the difference between footprinting and reconnaissance. They're likely to be the same thing, or they'll have the same similar meaning, but portraying different things. So it's a method that's used for collecting data from targets. Okay. Now, what kind of information can you gather from the target? What kind of information can you leverage on the target? Now, don't forget that you are doing this for ethical purpose. Okay. So what kind of information can you leverage on a target? We have the network information, the host information, and the people involved. Okay. Now, the network information is you trying to gather network information about the target, such as the IP address, the domain name, the email service provider. They're just trying to gather a lot of things regarding the network or where the website is hosted or whatever information on the internet. Okay. Now let's talk about the host. Okay, the host information. So let's take, for example, you're asked to do a pen test for a company. Now you definitely know that this company has different systems. Okay, we could talk about host in the terms that okay, a company has different what's it called, system. Now you try to understand what kind of information can you gather from the system a company use. So let's say, for example, in a software company, right? A software development company, definitely all the users or all developers are likely to be using a MacBook. Okay, few of them are likely to be using Windows. Okay, now when you identify the kind of operating system they use on their, that is the company use, now you can still look forward into okay, what kind of applications do they use for their daily activities. Okay, now this information you are gathering you can leverage on it. So let's take, for example, one of the designers of one of the designers in the software development company as part of the team is using a cracked software. Okay, so let's say he goes to a popular website. I'm not going to mention the name, and he downloads a cracked software. Okay, now this cracked software has implications. Okay, it tends to have some malware or payload attached to it. Okay, now, and let's say, for example, one of this that is the designer's system end up getting infected. Now, this depending on the type of infection or the type of malware, the malware could end up spreading across the network of that company. So let's take, for example, if that designer guy end up installing the cracked software. So just work with me on this. Installs a cracked software. Now, the cracked software that is being installed has, let's say, for example, a rootkit malware, or let's say, for example, a worm malware. Okay, how can this spread? Now, this type of malwares tend to do more damage than a normal virus. Okay, so they could infect the entire company, and thereby they could have attackers or threat actors to be spying on them. Okay, now let's look at people involved. Now, the people involved involves the employees. So employee of a company also, you could gather information. So we usually use the social engineering techniques on humans, because humans are like the weakest link in the OSI model or in the chain of the network. We refer to them as the weakest link because humans tend to have emotions and empathy, which are likely to be exploited. Okay, now let's look at data that you can gather when it comes to network. Now, for data, you could gather IP address, you could gather subdomains associated with a domain. You could look at services such as TCP and UDP, that's the transmission control protocol, and the user datagram protocol services as well. Then you could also identify common vulnerabilities. So let's say, for example, a website was just deployed by a particular company and they are running on an HTTP instead of HTTPS. Now, they are running on an HTTP in the sense that their website is not secure. It doesn't have an HTTP, an SSL enabled or an SSL installed or integrated. Now, this website could be exploited by any threat actor who is very skillful in what he or she does. So, okay, having such information is enough to start a successful attack. Okay, now let's look at active and passive. Now, for active reconnaissance. Okay, for active, you are in direct contact with the target in order for you to gather information. So take for example, I can decide to be your friend, or I can decide to, okay, I notice you work for a particular tech company, and you hold a very tangible position in that company. And I know that, oh, you love yoga, okay, like yoga is your thing, or you play chess. Now, I could decide to join a particular club. So let's say, for example, every evening after work, you go to a club. I discover this. Now, how do I discover most of this information? We're going to get into that. So most times, but let me chip this in. But most times it's usually from the internet, the social media. We're going to get into that when we get to the passive. Okay. So I discovered that you love yoga, right? Then I could decide to what's it called? Register myself for the yoga class or the dance class. And thereby I try to become your friend, creating a relationship with you. And from there, it can move or escalate to a situation whereby you begin to divert or divulge confidential information to me. Being that you are human and you have the ability to just let things out, depending on kind of person you are. Okay. So, but active literally means having direct contact with the target. Okay. While for passive, it means gathering information from the internet. Okay. You're gathering information about the target from the internet. You gather as much as possible information about the internet. So, for example, the emails, from social medias, from public websites, from forums. So most times, I think we have some type of data that we give out unknowingly. So, like for example, voluntary data. Okay. So sometimes you go on social media, you like. Someone can decide to study all your likes, okay, and or all your comments, okay, all your comments, all your tweets. Someone can decide to study them to better understand how you or what you do or what you're interested in, so that you'll be able to find vulnerabilities in you. Okay, so let's look at the for example, let's talk about HTTP tracker. Now, this website allows you to clone an entire website, okay, to be offline. And when you clone it, you tend to have access to directories on a website. Okay, so let's look at Google Dorking. Okay, but before we dive into what Google Dorking, let me just sharply finish this slide. So this slide again explains the same thing when we talk about passive and active. Okay, so active reconnaissance is usually employed when the attacker discerns that there is a low possibility that this reconnaissance activity will be detected. Okay, so there are other things we use for that is tools we use. So let me just there are tools we use for reconnaissance. Okay, so let's take for example passive and active. Okay, we have scanning and we have enumeration. Okay, so for example, service and enumeration, or service enumeration and scanning involves you gathering information about the network. So most times we use tools like Nmap, some scanners, network scanners, to scan for networks. Okay, we use network scanners to scan for network. Okay, so information gathering, you can also refer to it as OSINT. So OSINT stands for Open Source Intelligence. So it's an action of searching for publicly available information via the internet or open source. So to get an understanding of what an organization do, you have to do a lot of digging, a lot of searching, a lot of information just to know about who your target is. Okay, so these are things that the bad guys use as well as the good guys. Okay, so for example, as a pen tester, an upcoming pen tester, you might be asked to pen test on a company. Okay, let me share this scenario. I was opportunity to pen test with or do a penetration testing for a company, more of like just a social engineering simulation. Okay, now this social engineering simulation happened to be that this company is a startup company and they're into what they do, and they needed to teach or educate the employee on social engineering techniques and the likes. Now, what I did, identifying that I am paid to pen test a particular company, right? I did a lot of research about the company. Like Okay, every company loves to put their website online. Every company loves to make sure that they're online. Their websites are online and everything about them is just there. Okay, let me just use an illustration here so that we get the analogy or what I'm trying to say. Okay, so take for example, I visit Paystack. I think we all know what Paystack is. Paystack is a payment gateway. Paystack is a payment gateway popularly known, popularly integrated to most web applications, apps, and there are a lot of services. Like they run the payment gateway in Nigeria. Okay, and I think Stripe or what company acquired them like that, and they're integrated to a lot of companies. So now let's just go to the aspect of give me a minute. Okay, about us. Now, when you go to the about us of Paystack, right? Now you get to see a lot of things about them. Now, one of the things that most companies do, which I'm just going to share with you because these guys are popular and there's nothing you can use against them. Now, this team right here, their names are what's it called? Quite open. Okay, I love the fact that they were able to groom their career. That is what they do. They were able to groom it in the sense that they have the product, they have the growth, they have the engineering department. They are not job specific. Okay, they are not job specific in the sense that this is what you do or this is what we do. They just specify that okay, for example, this person, Lukman Bello, is part of the growth team. Okay, so now if I'm to research about growth team, now one thing you can do here, like when you're doing information gathering. Now, this whole idea of having your team members on a website is good, like it's really cool, right? But at the same way, it creates a deep sense of how am I going to put it? It puts an attacker in a platform for the attacker to dive deep or to dive deeper into what an individual is doing. So let's take, for example, I'm just going to use this guy, Anthony Uche. Now, Anthony Uche is likely to be part of their developers because it's part of the engineering team. Now, he's likely to be part of the developers or one of the designers and the like. So I'm just going to search about this person. It's publicly available. I'm not doing anything. And it's going to bring out his information. Okay, it's going to bring out his information on LinkedIn, his pictures. It's going to bring out a lot of things about him. Okay, which is not a big deal, actually. Okay, but when you dive deeper, you see the kind of information he puts on what's it called, on LinkedIn or on other social media platforms is what is likely what I'm going to use to leverage it. So let's say, for example, I know this guy is a front-end engineer at Paystack. Okay, he's a front-end engineer at Paystack, and he has been working with them for years, and he has been working with a lot of companies for years. Okay, that's cool. Now, what can I do with this information? I could also search about his other Instagram. I could visit his Instagram. I could visit his Twitter. I could visit his Facebook. Now, I could also use some tools to check back for different accounts where he's likely mentioned or accounts that he has been to, he has registered with, whatever activity has been on the internet. So there's one thing we usually say that the internet never forgets, okay? So no matter how you say, oh, I just posted something and the next 5 minutes I deleted it. Now, one thing you don't know is someone is likely to take a screenshot of that post and repost it. Okay, so the internet never forgets. So that's one thing you need to have in mind. Okay, so as I was just saying, so you could just take in one person and search about the person, and you could also dive deep into the person, like dive into the person, what the person do, what is his life. Now, note that the information you are gathering is open source, right? Is open source, and the information is likely to help you know how to approach your target or how to exploit your target. Okay, so if your target is having less information on the internet. So, for example, I think there was a tweet that it said Minister of Japan There was a tweet that says Minister of Japan has never used. Let me just do a quick Google search. All right, so I'm just going to share my screen. So there was a tweet saying, oh, Minister of Japan has never used a computer before. Okay, I don't know how far this is true. I don't know how far this is, but I think there was a, okay, let me click on this. I say does not compute. Japan cybersecurity, oh, he's even a cybersecurity minister, admits has never used a computer. Like, imagine you being a cybersecurity minister and never use a computer. So these are like the rumors, or these are like the things that, so like this is a meme saying you can't be hacked if you don't have a computer. So that's actually true. You can't be hacked, but definitely there's a way you can be hacked. Okay, so it's not necessarily computer. So most time, let me just chip this in. Most time when people say a particular person has been hacked or a company has been hacked, now when we talk about hacking doesn't necessarily means that it's through the internet or through. That's why we have other parts where we talk about the social engineering. There are people who hack your psychological mindsets. They hack human being for a living. Okay, they call them people hackers. Okay, they hack people for a living. Okay, so fun fact, you could try different things about different people, but just know that the kind of information you put out there is what is going to help a threat actor or an attacker or an ethical hacker know more about you. And to be honest, they can't find anything about you if you don't put much information about yourself on the internet. So let's look at other things like tools like Google, Bing, Yahoo. I don't know if anybody still uses Yahoo. I don't know if Yahoo search engine still exists, but there's Bing search engine, there's Google search engine. And I said earlier, Google is like the popular search engine ever known. Then we have DNS lookup. So DNS stands for domain name system lookup. So you can look up a domain name. That's like, for example, paystack.com is a domain name. You can look it up and see what's are the registration, the registrant. We'll be looking at that later on. Okay, so let's look at footprinting. So objective is to gain insight into targets, to know your enemy. That's one of the objectives. Okay, so as part of Reconnaissance, I'm reading from here. As part of Reconnaissance, Reconnaissance phase, often the term footprinting and reconnaissance are used interchangeably. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so that's why I said Google the difference between footprinting and reconnaissance. They are used interchangeably. Okay, then process of gathering information to create a blueprint of or map of an organization, network, and system. Now, yeah, so that's why most times when you watch movies like, I don't know if you watch Blacklist or Jendo, there's this movie Jendo. I think I can't really recall the movie. Now, there was a map or a layout of how the entire attack worked. I could recommend Blacklist for you to watch. It's a very interesting series that talks about different crime scenes, and you get to learn about the crime scenes. Okay, so let me just chip this in. I'll be doing a video on understanding or having an hacker's mindset, which is going to really help you to leverage or think from the perspective of an hacker. Because there's always a saying in cybersecurity that to beat an hacker, you need to think like one. So you need to have an understanding, you need to have a perspective of an hacker. But as an ethical hacker, you have a perspective, or you have a mindset of an hacker, but you do it in an ethical way. Okay. So for this class or for this video, it's going to be on, we're going to use a demo website called MegaCop1. So MegaCop1 is a popular website by offensive security. That's those guys that developed Kali Linux, or the guys that manage Kali Linux for a living, actually. Okay, so the website is basically a free open source website that, so they said this is a fictitious company bought by Offensive Security. And when you check Offensive Security, you check them out. When you check Offensive Security, you're going to see what they do for a living. So Offensive Security, let me just chip it in, is one of the popular, or they are the ones behind all the operating, like Kali Linux operating system that we use for our day-to-day hacking stuff that consists of like tons of hacking tools. Okay, so it's still loading. All right, so let's dive straight into Google Dorking. All right, so Google Dorking is mainly referred to as pulling sensitive information from Google search engine. It is also referred to as advanced Google search. Okay, then so hackers simply use it to desire parameters as follows. So what they use is they use Google in a way that a layman doesn't use Google, which help them to narrow their search. Okay, it helps them to narrow their search. They don't just search. They don't just search like any other or any individual. It helps them to narrow their search. All right. All right, so this is the Offensive Security that I was talking about, their website. You can check out a lot of things that they do. They offer this OSCP certifications, which is really expensive. So open source tools that they've been managing or they manage. And all right, so Google Dorking, as I was saying earlier, is ability for you to use some parameters to narrow your search. And we're going to be seeing how we're going to do that. We're going to be using Megacop1, for example, or as an example, and we're going to see how we can build or gather information about our target. So Megacop1, now you must determine, do you have the presence on the, so you have to know whether they're on the internet, that is their domain name. You can check their IP address range or their IP address. You can also do NS lookup, that's a name server lookup, as well as you can identify employees' email. Okay, so for example, if a company bought a domain name and they also create their email from that same domain name, that is their official email from the domain name, it's possible to extract possible domain name associated with that domain name using some tools. Then can I build an hierarchy of employee? Yes. So hierarchy of employee in the sense that you build an organogram. I think that's the word, organogram, in the sense that you build a structure starting from the CEO to the middle level to the lower level of a company, top, middle, and lower level of a company. Okay, so let's look at active and passive. So these are things they use. So for passive, you use website recon, WHOIS, enumeration, Google Arcane. We also have Shodan. We have OSCENT framework, as well as security header scanner. We also have, for active, we have DNS enumeration, which is the domain name system enumeration. We have port scanning, banner grabbing, as well as service enumeration. So these are things that we'll be looking at. All right, so let's just dive in straight to Google Dorking. That is how we can use Google Dorking for our day-to-day or our normal as an ethical person, as an ethical hacker. All right, so this is Google, right? This is the Google that everybody knows, everybody likes. This is the Google that everybody uses for a living. Yeah, everybody uses Google. Everybody is happy using Google and the likes and the likes. But there are how am I going to put it? There are ways you use Google that it narrowly gives you what you're looking for. Okay, it narrowly gives you what you're looking for. Okay, so let's see this website, Megacop1. This is their website, very interesting and a very good website. Okay, very interesting website actually, designed by Offensive Security or adopted by them. And but let's see how we can use this website, or how we can exploit, or not exploit per se, gather information about who created this website, what this website is for, and blah 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 blah. We're just going to gather some basic information about them. Okay, so one thing I'm just going to do, I'm just going to search for Google. Okay, let me close this tab. I'm going to search for Google Dork 2022. Okay, now you notice when I search for Google Dork 2022, I have in some, should I say, random websites, right? I have like tons of random websites where I could click on and just get list of. So I'm just going to click on this first one. That I can get list of or tons of Google parameters or Google Dorking stuff. Okay, but before I do that, I'm just going to show us I'm just going to show us. I want to show us first some like how I'm going to just do a simple report, like just a simple report of how a report or how the information, like how I'm going to document the information. Okay, like how I'm going to document the information. That's basically what I'm going to do. Okay, since this is a network, that's network pen test kind of video. So I'm just going to show us what I'm going to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is, let me just drag this here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just to show you what I'm going to do. So this is Megacop 1, and this is the website. Okay, you could navigate through the website to feel the how the website is built, software used, I'm going to say it, content on the website. Okay, so let's start by having this on the screen. So target website, I'm just going to name it Megacop 1. Now the IP address associated with Megacop 1, I'm going to try to retrieve it. Okay, I'm just going to show us what I'm going to do. So okay, so there are different ways to retrieve the website. There are different ways to retrieve the IP address of a particular domain name. So this is a domain name. Megacop1 is a domain name. And I'm going to try to retrieve the website. So I'm just going to drag this here and name. Now this is a terminal. So when you go to your menu and you search for terminal, you have this. You could do this on Linux. You could do this on Windows. So just search for terminal and press enter. You have what I have in here. Okay, so I'm just going to do ping. Now ping is a command that allows you to know if a particular website is reachable or not. So it's mainly for host reachability. Altogether, yes, it's mainly for host reachability. So I'm just going to do ping. Now it's saying ping Megacop1 can be found. Okay, so I'm just going to retype it, ping mega, because I copied and paste, and megacop1.com. Okay, is this saying I can't? Okay, so let me just clear my screen. Okay, so let me use another website to be sure. I'm just going to ping google.com to be sure that the website is live actually, or I have good internet connection. So yes, google.com is live. That is, my internet is working. So if I'm unable to ping this website, that means there's an issue somewhere. Okay, but the website is showing me it's live right here and it's accessible. Okay, but I could do a trace route, also called trace megacop1.com. So I'm just going to do this. I'm unable to resolve system target. So I guess they are likely to be down, because if I do a trace route on google.com, I should get a reply that is trying to trace from my own end to where Google server is. Okay, so I'm just going to end it and clear screen. Okay, I'm just going to end it and clear screen. Okay, so no biggies. Let's figure out another way to get an IP address. Okay, so I'm just going to minimize this. Now, how can we get the IP address of Megacop 1? Okay, so I'm just going to navigate back to this place and show us some tools. So I will be using the website called Threat Intelligence. So Threat Intelligence is basically a website that gives you more information about a particular website. It just gives you a lot of information. So I'm just going to paste in the guy here. I'm just going to paste in Megacop 1 website here, and hopefully we get a reply. So I'm going to be using range of. So I'm just going to do this. Then there's another website called Who is Lookup. So I'm just going to search for Who is Lookup. So this is it here. I'm just going to do Who is Lookup, as well as I'm just going to paste the same guy. So here you could enter an IP address. Here you could enter an IP address, or you could enter an IP address or a you could enter an IP address here or a domain name. So I'm just going to enter domain name here. So I'm going to also do, so for the next one, I'm just going to do netcraft. So I'm just going to say netcraft, and I'm going to do this as well. So for netcraft, I'm just going to do just basic information. Like I just want to get an overview of the so netcraft is a very tool plugin that you could integrate to your. So this guy you could integrate netcraft to your web browser. Okay, so I think this guy should go now. Yes, is it going? Yeah, it is. All right, so this is Megacop 1, this is OIS, and this is reports from Threat Intelligence. Okay, let's take it one after the other. Let's start from Megacop 1, OIS. Now, OIS gives me a brief information about who hosted or what or how this guy is hosted. Okay, so let's say, for example, let's start from here. We have the domain name, we have the registrar, we have the registered. So these are the dates that it was registered, as well as it was updated, as well as it's going to expire. Okay, so anyone who deploy their websites on the internet, that is host their website, they have to make sure that they renew their domain name or they renew their hosting plan before the expiring date, because once it expires, another person could buy it and hold that domain to ransom, because a lot of people do that. What they do is they buy domain name, they buy a popular domain name, they wait for it to expire, and once it expires, they buy the domain name if the owner doesn't renew it. Okay, so let's look at some basic information. All right, so here we have, as well as the name server. So name servers is that is the name of the server that is hosting their website. So they have like 3 name servers: name server 1, 2, and 3. Okay, you could search more on this. Let's see if we're going to get any information, any report. Okay, but let's come to the registrant contact. Now, the registrant contact is this. Now, it's okay. There's no response from this, so it's still loading. So, registrant contact. Now, this registrant contact is what we can leverage on. I haven't started Google Dorking yet. What I'm just trying to do is to gather information about the demo website, Megacop 1. Okay, so this is the person, Godfrey, anyhow it's pronounced. Now, this name is I could do a Google search on it to be able to see who this person is. Now, don't forget that offensive security, or the website stated that it is basically a fictional website, fictitious website, or a fictitious company. Okay, what do you mean by fiction? Like fictional, let me just use the word fictional, in the sense that it is not real. Okay, so every name you are seeing here are characters and titles. So let's just dive in back. Now you see the person that hosted this website, that is the name of the person. Usually, this is supposed to be restricted. Okay, this name is supposed to be restricted. Now, when you have a website like this that gives you, when you have a website like this, right? And when you have a website and the registrant, that is the person who hosted the website, contact and details is not restricted, the person is likely to be a target. Okay, target in the sense that once I know the person's streets or the person's name, I could do deep or further information or information gathering about the target from social media to, I could do both active and passive reconnaissance on the person by going directly in contact with the person or searching the internet about the person. And don't let me just chip this in that information gathering could take months, it could take days, weeks, months, or even years. Okay, I've seen a situation that is from a movie, Blacklist, actually. It took a guy who he had to he did an active reconnaissance. And what did he do? He married a lady just to be able to gather information because she's an FBI agent. He married the lady so as to gather information for like 2 years, pretending to be her husband or his husband. Sorry, her husband. And like that, he was able to gather the information needed from FBI and was able to diverge the information to other people or to third parties or the likes. Okay, so as I was saying, this name is likely to be a target. Okay, so since this is a demo website, Now, when I search for the name, I have this person. Now you can check that this person is a fictional character from I think a movie or a book. Okay, it's a fictional character. So, but regardless of it, you could still do a further digging about the person. Okay, so we're going to see is LinkedIn. Can you see a LinkedIn? So I'm just going to open tab. Now this is the LinkedIn profile created about the person. This is audible website about the person, books, so now let's talk about the LinkedIn person. So this is the LinkedIn. He has like 7 followers, 3 connections. Now, if this is an actual target, right? Don't forget this is a demo target. But if this is an actual target, the person is likely to have his or her achievements, because LinkedIn is like an online platform where you put in yourself, you put yourself out there for people to see. You put in your resume, your educational background, your education background, what you do, where you currently work. You share, you like, you share, you comment, you repost. You do a lot of things on LinkedIn. Okay, so this guy is likely to be exploited. But since there are limited information about him on his LinkedIn profile, we could also check other social media platform. But unfortunately, this person doesn't have publicly available information per se. But I'm going to try it on another target for us to see. But it's just a demo because the stuff is actually online and it's just there. So I'm just going to so like for example, we could also use this. We could also search for this place on Google Map to be able to see where exactly this place is. Okay, we're going to search Google Map to be able to see, oh, this is where, or where is this? So I think this is the image of the place. Okay, and this is the image of the place where the tag has. So if you zoom in, sorry, I just saw that stuff. Sorry, I'm trying to drag the guy. So if you see Old Mill and it's Old Mill Street. So they just pinpoint this place as the location of the company. So you can see that this information is basically what anybody could use against the target. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to this. Now you could see the city as well, the state, this postal code. Now this postal code can help you to narrow down exactly what county or what state the person is staying. Okay, So you can narrow down in such a way that, oh, this person is staying in a particular state or in a particular location. Okay. Then the phone number as well. So this phone number also someone can dial it. Now you see this email has been encrypted or hashed. Sorry, not encrypted. It has been hashed. Okay. What type of hashing I can't tell, but I could use some tools to find the hash type of it. But this guy has been hashed and it might take forever to unhash it because hashing is usually like one way, not unlike encryption. Encryption is a two-way thing. You encrypt to decrypt. Hashing is usually like one way, and it takes time for you to hash a particular hashing, if that word is correct. All right, so moving on. So this is the contact of the person, and these are other information. So let's check out the other one, threat intelligence. Now, threat intelligence, I love to use this one because it gives me like a more detailed. Okay, before I use threat intelligence, let me use Netcraft. So also, I love Netcraft. Netcraft, I think Netcraft works with ranking as well. You can see Netcraft's risk ranking 1/10, site ranking. So a lot of digital marketers use Netcraft. They use Netcraft to be able to know how they are ranking. We call it SEO, social engine, search engine optimization. Okay. So what they're trying to do is to optimize their self on the internet in such a way that when you search for it, their website appears without any stress. All right. So it also happens based on keyword. Okay. So let's look at site. Okay. So for site, this is the website. Sorry. For the site, this is the website. This is the website. The domain, this is the domain name. Yeah. Then the net blocker owner. Okay. So you could also check about their name server, that is whoever hosted it. You could check the hosting country. So the name of the company that is hosting their website is this. So this is an hosting company. This is where they hosted their website. Now you could also do a further search about this company. So they are based in Canada actually. So we could do a further search about them and we could ask Google. So if I visit their website, I could ask Google recent that is the name of their company, data breach. Okay, so just to see if they've been breached before. So what happened to OVH hosting? So they suffered a large fire data center. Okay, so they had more of like a physical server disruption and the like. So they are likely to be down during this period. Then okay, so they were on fire. Their servers, their data center was on fire, but it wasn't like major data breach. But let's see, 51 joint class action against OVH Cloud over fire data loss. So they lost data due to fire incident. So that's why physical security as well as online security is really important as well. So those guys they are responsible for keeping the data safe, both the physical and the online, or that's the internet or the cloud kind of security. Okay. So so you can see we could also do more research about data breach. For example, if you go on the dark web and you search for this and try to dive or deep dig, you'll be able to see what maybe there was a data breach or the kind of information they posted. So for example, if this website had a data breach, right, you could go online or you could even ask Google, what is the cost of this OVH data breach? That is if they were breached if they were ever breached. Okay, those are questions you just need to ask. So you're trying to gather more information as possible just to know if they were breached or if they had issues somewhere or somehow. Okay, so let's look at okay, I think this is the website. Okay, so I think I'm on Netcraft. All right. All right, so I'm on Netcraft now. Let me go back. Okay, so this is where I was. Yeah, I said their hosting company is this, their hosting country is this, their IPv4 address. So can you see me getting the IP address of these guys? Yeah. Okay, let me check if the IP address changed. Okay, it's still the same thing. I'm just going to paste it. Yeah, it's still the same thing because most times we have static and dynamic IP address. So IP address are likely to change depending on if it's the shared hosting kind of thing. All right. So let's look at so this is the IP address. I have no idea why it wasn't pinging at that point or that moment. But let me try again. Ping, I'm just going to paste the IP address and ping it. So I'm getting a reply from the website. I'm actually getting a reply stating that everything is cool, right? But I don't know why the domain name isn't pinging. Yeah. But let me try it again. megacop1.com. All right. So let's see. Okay, I'm still getting the same issue, but never mind. We're all after the IP address. Okay, so the IP address is this. Okay, now this IP address, you could also do further IP address. That's when you're trying to do nmap. I'm sorry, scanning and enumeration. Right? We're going to dive in deeper into that aspect. But what we're doing currently is just to gather information. Now, this IP address, we could also check if. I think that's why I love threat intelligence. Threat intelligence is going to give us more details about IP address. So let's look at, we also have name servers. So I'm just going to go back here. Sorry, I'm just going to go back here and check for name servers. So name servers, okay, so the domain registrant, that is this registrant. We have the organization, that is this the company. Then we have the DNS admin. So this is a DNS admin. We have the commercial entities. We have autonomous systems. We also have virus total. So virus total, I'm just going to chip this in. Virus total is a antivirus search engine. Yes, it is an antivirus search engine. Yeah, it is. So virus total is an antivirus search engine, and it's literally just optimized with different antivirus vendors. So you can see if you're familiar with which popular antivirus is there? ESET, yeah. I'm familiar with ESET, Dr. Web. Which other website? I think, let me see. Fish Tank, I think I'm familiar with Fish Tank. I saw Fish Tank. Open Fish, yeah. So these are different, or these are popular antivirus vendor. So this guy gives you an overview, that is the details of the IP address, in the sense that, oh, the website, the IP address is this, and this is what class of IP address is this? This should be class B IP address. Okay, because it has a subnet of 16. Okay, then you could also see the hash. The hash, what's it called? That's the hash, yeah, fingerprint hash. So this hash is usually used to identify, like, just to make it unique. Okay, hash are difficult. Like the moment you hash something, right, and you change the object in it, the moment you hash something and you change the object in it, it's difficult for you to reverse it. All right. Also, this is the last, that is the HTTPS certificate. Okay, you can see they are mostly in hash. All right. As well as these are hexadecimal. So most of, they're just trying, all these stuffs are just signatures to make them unique. I think he's using a signature SHA256, popularly known. All right. So there are more information to look into. So this is the IP delegate as well. You could see the range of the IP address. That's why I love these guys as well. They give range of IP address. So it's starting from United States to United States, Canada to Canada to Canada, right? So also you have the SSL information. So SSL stands for the secure socket layer, or the transport layer security, which helps to validate or verify that the website is properly secure. That is, every data moving from the website, that is from the client, that is from your browser to the web server, are secured. That's why you have HTTP. For example, I have a padlock here and it's saying connection secured. That is to say, whatever thing I communicate, I request, that is whatever data in transit between my browser and the web server that I'm trying to access it are secured. Okay. Then I have what other thing? All right. So there are a lot of informations to this. There's also SSL version 3. They all comes with different versions. So this site does not support SSL version 3. So if you are doing web pen test and you discover that a particular stuff is missing, or a particular maybe the security version is low or something, you could tell or recommend for them to upgrade. Then we also have the SSL certification chain. We have the hosting history, as well as, so these are all the hosting history. So I think they were hosting on, so they as of 2020 April, they were hosting on these guys. Then as of January 2021, they were hosting with these guys. And now November 4th, they moved to these guys. And that's why the IP address keeps what? Changing. Okay, that's why the IP address is changed. And definitely every web server runs on Linux. Then this is the web server as well. Okay, then you could have, they have the email, that is the email thing as well. Then they have server, the client side, content delivery. Now the content delivery has to do with large distribution of multiple data centers on the internet. So they have the popular sites. I don't know if they use Google. Okay, I think they use Google. They use this as well. Then we have web gallery. Okay, the web gallery, virtual arts gallery website. So these guys, they just bring in a lot of things. You can see they're running on HTML5, which is cool, because the other version, I think they are lesser version of, they call them downgrade version, I guess. Then this HTML5, the CSS usage, like you just get to see a lot of good breakdown from their website. And that's what I really love about Netcraft. So let's move to the last one, which is really interesting, is threat intelligence platform.com. Now, these guys let us, they give like really detailed from web to IP to SSL. Now you can see that there's a red flag, there's a good flag, there's a warning sign, there's a red flag, and there's a red flag. So these are things that they need to put into place. Excuse me. All right. Let's dive in more. So this is it. You see, I have the IP address and the website. Now, other IP addresses, that is, these are subdomains. So these are subdomains associated with them. So let's click on this and see the domain, subdomain here. Okay, let's see this website. So this is a subdomain. Okay, this is a subdomain that they have. They have how many subdomain? Okay, they have all these subdomain associated with megacop1.net. Okay, then we also have web analysis. Okay, complete. Then page phrase. So this is just trying to split the phrase. I think I remember when I was doing phishing analysis, how to identify if a URL link is legitimate or phishing. So this is a phishing page, phrasing page limit, the maximum phrase length, and the likes and the likes. Okay, let's look at potentially dangerous content. So links to APK file. Okay. So this guy does a good job. Then host configuration issues. Okay, so they don't have any Git issues or any repository issues or any directory listing issues. Then let's look at open ports. Now, the open ports they have here are ports that allows communication. So, for example, they have MySQL, they have a lot of port opens. These are called services as well. That allows the application to be able to communicate to other applications. So, for example, I'm just going to mention this guy, Postgres SQL is a type of database, and that is popularly used. Okay, then let's talk about SSL. So no SSL certificate found. So this is an issue. But let me check once again if where's the website again? I think no. Yeah, this guy. So let me just copy this guy and run it again, because it's over here. It's saying there's HTTPS. So I'm just going to copy and refresh this guy, because this was only what I pasted, and I'm just going to do this. Verify. Now this is captcha, trying to make sure that I'm verified, I'm human and not a robot. Definitely I'm human. My robot, no. Okay, so moving on. Just give it a minute, let it load. Okay, but I hope we'll get the concept behind what we're trying to do. We're just trying to gather more information as possible. Now, this SSL, no SSL, leaves them vulnerable. So the question you'll be asking yourself is, what kind of attack can be done on a no SSL website? What kind of attack can be done on a no SSL website? When you ask Google, I think Google should be able to give you a good response to that. Then we have the malware database system as well. So it checks with the malware database. Is there any phishing? Is there any spamming? There are some websites that they are phishing, and that is a lot of people have reported the IP address. For example, if you go to abuse IP, if you go to abuse IP website, now it brings IP address. So I'm just going to copy our demo IP address. I'm just going to copy the IP address, which is this guy, right? Yes. I'm just going to copy it and paste it here to be sure there's no report or no one is reporting anything about them. So abuse IP reports, this IP has not been reported. Okay. So this IP is not reported. But there are tons of IP addresses that have been reported, because a lot of people host websites, like they host websites and they use it for phishing attacks or phishing campaigns, so which tend to be reported. I've seen tons of them, which are really, really annoying. Okay, moving back to where was I? I'm here. Okay, so moving back to this place. So there are a lot of things. Then who is record as well. We have the who is record as well. So who is gives us the registration date. Same thing that who is lookup. That is same thing that this website gives us. Same thing. So you're likely to get similar information, but one is likely to be broader than the other. This is the domain owner. So this is the telephone number, the name of the person, blah, blah, blah. Administrative content, same. So I love these reports because it's really the best. Free domain zone, domain check. So this allows you to check the domain. Recently registered, expired soon, expires in 1 day. So there's a countdown for it. Free domain zone, offshore country, okay, United States. So you can see here that the owner's contacts are hidden. That is, owner's details are publicly available. That is, so most times when you are hosting websites, these are for developers. Try to make sure that the registrant's details are restricted. Okay, registrant's details are restricted. Okay, so mail exchanger. So mail exchanger is for emails. Okay, so for example, they have mail to megacop1.com, spool, they have Facebook, and they have mail. So these are mail exchangers. Okay, then we have configuration check as well. So they have the 4A records configured. Okay, but I think there's a warning here. So they probably need to do more things on it. Then we have IP address. So reverse IP address as well. So you could do a reverse IP address, that is reverse in the sense that you get the domain name associated with the IP address. Every domain name has an IP address, just like every contact on your phone has a phone number. Every contact on your phone, that is every name saved on your phone, has a phone number associated with it. If you save somebody's contact on your phone, then there's definitely a phone number behind it. So this is the name of the mail server as well as the IP address, just like phone number. So that's why I say I really love these guys. Then real-time black hole check. So this is a blacklist. So it checks with blacklist servers. So is there any blacklisted or anything blacklisted? I think it's giving a warning sign. mail server checked in 10 blacklists. Some of the email server are blacklisted. So some mailing servers are blacklisted and they need to be looked into. Then we have SOA, then we have configuration checks and configuration meets. So these are different reports. I hope you understand or you get the basics of what they do. So now with this information you've gathered, right, you should learn how to give or dive deeper to identify your target. You could also check if there's a firewall on their website using Waffle. So we might get into this later on. NS and MX, okay, that's the mailing server and the name servers, which is what we just talked about. All right, so let's dive back to what we do. That is, let's dive back to what we are mainly focused on, which is what? Google Dorking. All right, so how do you do Google Dorking? Okay, so this is Google Dorking. It uses different operators such as let me start from here. So it uses operators such as cache. Okay, so cache content on the web, on Google search engine, links. Okay, so these guys are also referred to as keywords, like more like I could put them as keywords, even though this is not a programming language, but these are keywords. So with these keywords, you could be able to search for things easily. Okay, we're going to see how this works. There are tons of them. There's in title, there's all in URL. There is okay, so let's say for example, Google updated sheet. If you're looking for a particular thing or you're looking for, so these are the list of them using special, vulnerable, blah blah blah. I'm going to explain how to do them. Okay, so let's just dive in so I don't talk too much or I don't emphasize too much on what these guys do. Okay, so let's start with getting username. So I could come in here and search for, okay, let me share the screen. Okay, so let's say for example I want to find information about a particular person in the company. And you know, LinkedIn is a popular search engine, the popular search engine tool for people, professionals. It's more like a professional space. So I'm just going to come in back to my browser and say site. Now the site keyword allows me to be specific on what I'm looking for. Okay, I'm saying site, then I'm saying LinkedIn. So this is the URL or the link address to LinkedIn. Okay, and I'm going to put in entity. Okay, entity, I'm just going to put in, let's say for example, we talked about who is, right? We talked about the person that, okay, let me just look for this guy. Okay, we talked about the person that okay, let me just open this. We talked about the person that hosted their website. That is the person that hosted this company website, MegaCop1. So let me just go back to getting his first and last name. Okay, I'm just going to go back to getting his first and last name. What's his name again? Okay, give me a minute. Let me check in with these guys. Okay, let me do Uis again. Uis is much faster for me. Okay, I'm just going to go to Uis. So, like for example, this is Davido's website, the popular musician. But I'm not doing for Davido, Mega Cop 1. So this is what I'm doing for. Okay, so this is for Mega Cop 1. So I'm just going to grab in the first and last name of this guy from here, and I'm going to put it here. So I'm just going to put in this name. So I can remove entity 2. I'm just going to remove entity 2. And I'm going to search. Okay, so now you can see I've narrowed my search. So when you check the URL here, you see that it's LinkedIn, 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 LinkedIn. Okay, is either LinkedIn or LinkedIn. There's nothing else associated with it. So it's just going to narrow your search. So instead of, okay, so let's see the difference. I'm just going to right click and duplicate this guy, and I'm just going to search for this name. So let's say, for example, I paste this name on Google, right? When I paste his name on Google, I have information about him from Wikipedia, from this guy, from this guy, from this guy, from this guy, from Amazon, from Press, from the books, from LinkedIn, from scribed.com. I have it from different places, but I want to narrow my search. I just say site, LinkedIn, Alfred. Now, let's say, for example, Twitter. I come here and I put in Twitter. Twitter. So I'm just going to put in Twitter, and I'm not going to get a reply because my guy is not on Twitter. But let me see if twitter.com. Sorry. Let's see. Okay. He's actually not. Oh, okay. They created an account for him on Twitter. Wow, that's amazing. So he has an account on Twitter as well. So you can see these are different names also on Twitter. These are the names. When I check his account, still loading. So this is his Twitter. You could also check for Instagram. You could check for Instagram. Let's see if they created an Instagram account for him. Sorry, Instagram.com. Sorry, .com. So this is a person associated with, but nothing having to do with Megacorp. Okay, but this one has where's that one? This other one has Megacorp, director of Megacorp. Okay, when you do for Twitter, but the guy is not on Instagram. Okay, so this is just way to be able to narrow your search. So let's say, for example, I'm looking for a resume. Okay, I'm looking for a resume of a particular person. I think we're all familiar with John Smith. John Smith is a popular. So I'm just going to say in URL. Okay, let me come in back to my guy. Sorry, not yet. So I'm just going to come in back here and find in URL. So in URL, the doc search for websites on like .edu domain that contains the word register forum. Okay. Now we said in URL edu, that is for education. The doc search for school website that allows you to register for a forum. So let me even copy this guy and see. I'm going to copy this guy and paste it here. I was about to search for resume. But let me just search for resume and see what I have. So I have resume for John Smith. That is, I have a CV for John Smith. I have samples. Now you notice there's PDF, there's Word document, there's template, there's so but if I want to narrow my search, I could come here and say file type. So when I do file type, that is the file, then I put the word keyword type. So keyword file type is another one, and I specify PDF. So if I put in PDF, you notice all I get is PDF. All I get is PDF. So any of this link I click is going to be PDF. Okay. Let's see. Let me search another one. So I'm just going to put in this one and see if there's a search. So so in URL, this is what I was able to find. They said the doc search for websites on edu domains, that is any website that has .edu. For example, federal government school.edu.com that contains the word register forum. So anywhere that contains register forum, it displays it. For example, we could also do for .gov. So for .gov as well brings out that is government website. Okay. Let's try in another. So I'm just going to copy this one as well and paste it for you to see and explain what it is. So index of in URL WP content. Now, when we talk about index of, okay, when we talk about index of, let me look for the keyword index of from here. Okay, let me look for the keyword index of. There are different websites you can use to practice Google Dorking. Is there index of? Yeah. Index of. Okay, I'm just going to find index of. Okay, so this is index of. So index of allows you, this is index of, right? So index of, I want to read the content. So you can easily find WordPress admin login using Doc as seen below. So for example, WordPress login, which is similar to what I'm trying to do here. When I put this index of, now it's going to ask me, because this guy doesn't trust anybody, captcha. Okay, captcha, you said bridge, and bridge it is. Sorry, mistake. Bridge, 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 no bridge. Bridge. Yeah. All right. So I'm in. So index of. So what it does basically is it gives us website that is the WP content. So if I click on this is for NAFDAC, this is for Akwa Ibom State, this is for different things, State House, Abuja. Okay. Sorry. So this is the WP directory. Now this stuff by default is supposed to be restricted, because if anyone have access to this directory, it's should I say it's bad? Yeah, it's bad for you to have access to a directory like this. Wait, there's a way they could restrict it. So web designers, there's a way they can restrict this. Okay, then, but let's say for example, I navigate through the parent directory. Now the parent directory gives me, so these like folders. Okay, so I could check for zip files. Now these zip files, oh, I hope I'm not downloading anything malicious, but open when done though. Let's just see. So let me see if I click on files. Okay, now let me come back here. 2015. I'm just gonna go back. I'm gonna click on 2019. So 2019, let's see what we have. Parent directory. Okay, it keeps okay. Let me just cancel this download or pause it. Cancel. Okay. So, but with this directory, you can review, like if you take your time to navigate through this, you can review sensitive informations from them. That is informations that you're not supposed to have, because most of these directories are supposed to be private and some are supposed to be public. Okay, then let's check for another one. This is for Akwa Ibom State Governor website, Akwa Ibom State website. So these are different. Oh wow! So this is somebody's NIN. This is somebody's NIN number. Nothing bad, but it's actually bad to see someone else's NIN, because this information is supposed to be personal. Okay, so I'm just going to go back. I'm not doing anything illegal. What I'm doing basically is just seeing publicly available information, because they put it out there. Okay, and uploaded files. Sorry, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to download anything. I'm scared of malware. So this is NYC stat as well. So this is somebody's NYC result. I'm always curious to see a lot of things. Okay, and NYC certificate also brings in. NYC certificates also display date of birth. It displays date of birth. So if you're not a Nigerian, so this is NYC, also called the National Youth Service Corps. Just a mandatory service year that every individual is to undertake to certify that they went through Nigeria, whatever. But I think we all get the concept. So I'm just going to go back. So these are different images. So now with this information, an attacker can take his or her time to properly scan, understand different directories that are there. Okay. This is for State House. Okay, let's check for what's happening on State House. APC youths. Okay, so these are Jonathan pictures. These are pictures of people, Tinubu's pictures. Wow, beautiful people. Okay, this is Prince Charles. Wow, beautiful. So these are pictures basically. So one has just pictures, parent directory. 12, when we go to 12, you can see, let's see what is this. Okay, these are just basically pictures. So, but when I remove this and I just press this, you see that this is the entire full website. State House website. This is the I think presidency website, I guess. Yes, it is the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But most of this information, whoever the developers are, they end up not properly doing proper configuration while setting up the WordPress. That's the CMS configuration. So most of what is happening here is improper WordPress configuration. Okay, in fact, you could even restrict it in such a way that, but since it's government, everything is public. Okay, I think I'm done with this part. Let me see. These are rules. Blah blah blah. Okay, so this is just information you could gather from just getting a WP, that is a WordPress information. You could also get so let me just copy what this guy did here. You could get, what's that guy? You could also get epic cameras. No, I don't want to get the cameras there. You could also copy, what's that guy? Index of. You could also get database as well. So these are database zip files. So if you copy this and paste this, you're likely to get different database files. So for example, if I say sites, I don't know if this is going to work. What's on that website that I just opened up recently? statehouse.gov.ng. So I'm just going to type in statehouse.gov.ng. I hope this is the correct. Okay, I'm not getting anything. Okay, so but when you do index of, let me try something else. Sorry. But when you do index of this, you end up having directories to zip files, that is database SQL zip files. So most times a lot of people don't restrict this stuff and it end up being vulnerable and people end up seeing them. Okay, I wanted to check something, but I'm not going to do. Okay, sorry. So these are running directories. So these are just directories for a website. Okay, so so what you could do is just navigate to this website and practice more on this. That is, practice with this stuff. You could also do info. So for example, if I want info, I'm just going to use state house for now. State house.gov.ng. I'm gonna, oh shoot. Okay, statehouse.gov.ng. I'm just going to delete this and search. So this is Aso Rock Facebook. So this is just information about info@statehouse.ng. So you could put any domain here, that is any domain website, to get in more information as well. Okay, then we have a related domain. We have let's look. We also have Zoom. So for like Zoom calls, there's scheduled Zoom calls, okay, that we could check out. So for November, blah blah blah, Zoom calls. So these are different things you can try out yourself. These are SQL DOMs. You could try this out. So you see a lot of vulnerable websites. Then you could also check for what's the word? Sorry. You could also check for web admin login page. So every website has an admin login page. Like for example, I'm just going to use I don't have it here. I'm just going to use statehouse.hub/wp admin. So let's see if we can have access. Okay, so it's forbidden, which is, well, let me be sure. Let me show WP admin. Okay, it's forbidden. Now this is really good. I mean, this is good. Now this feature is forbidden, temporary reason, try login again. It's actually good, but the fact that it's temporary. But usually this directory is supposed to be restricted. or it could be probably publicly available actually, but it is prone to brute force actually. So this is restricted. Okay, so which is cool. If you try other websites, maybe their Python website and likes, might be able to see. But looking at this, what you just have in here is WP, that is the WordPress directory for most websites. Okay, these are just bunch of directories, folders for a website. Okay, so I hope we're getting the concept. Okay, let's just do one last one. Let me see if I have any more. Okay, let's say for example you want to download a movie. You want to download a movie and you don't know how. You could use in title index of then the title of the movie, then the format. So for example, I want to download a cybersecurity series. This series is on, I think it's on Netflix or one popular. So you could download them. You could download them for free. You could also download movies as well, music, songs for free. So like for example, now this is pictures. Okay, no, this is not part of it. Okay, so it allows you to just download movies or songs for free. So for example, if you say Davido, songs, and you press enter, songs, I press enter. Okay, so you should have list of so this you see here MPV4, MKV so you can see directories of music that you can download, that you can listen to, and so this is the actual website. Let me come back here. This is the actual website of the website. So this is the actual website where people download and stream movies and the likes. But whoever developed it didn't put the necessary things there, and that's why all these stuffs are there. So if I play this, okay. So I think we've been able to look at some things. So this guy just gives us an edge on how to search the internet for reasonable stuff. You could also do admin PHP. That is the index admin PHP. And when you do this stuff, you could also do it to a website. I'm not sure if, let's say, now you have to note that a website which is that is database driven. Okay, a website that's database driven is what you can try this on. Okay. Okay, now let's look at so let's say for example you also, I'm just going to try another example. Let's say for example you want to do, I think we're all familiar with CUDA. Yes, we're all familiar with it. So I want to check sites, LinkedIn in URL dir, this for directory at CUDA current. So I'm trying to look for workers, that is people who work in CUDA currently, as that is people on LinkedIn who work as or who work in CUDA or at CUDA, sorry. So so these are different people who work with CUDA, senior manager, Android engineer, blah blah blah. Then you could also do for, so you could also check for this as well. You could do in URL. Could do in URL. Could try in URL username and password. So in URL username and password gives you anywhere the word keyword username and password is mentioned. Okay, anyway the username and password is mentioned. So let's say for example I say site linkedin.com. Let's see if we're going to get results. So on site LinkedIn, anywhere the word username and password, you can see username and password mentioned. LinkedIn, you can see, but we could also type this stuff, file type log. So if I put this, let's see if we're going to get something. Okay, we're not going to get anything. So sometimes you tend to get errors like this if you don't structure the way the search is going to go in. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it. Okay, I could say file type, let me say asterisk and run it. Okay, I'm just going to press enter to see if there's any report. Okay, there's nothing. So so sometimes the combination is, you have to make sure that you properly construct the combination of what you're looking for to be able to get good results or good requests. Okay, so so I'm just going to put in lastly, I'm just going to do one more for cameras, for us to be able to see some cameras. Okay, so the command is this, in title. I'm just going to copy this one as well and paste it here just to see cameras. Now it's going to question me. I think this guy capture is designed to do whatever it does. Okay, so vehicles, yes, that thing. Okay, so I'm going to get access to webcams right now. So let's say webcams. So these are vulnerable webcams. These are vulnerable webcams, and these are like live webcam, like live view. Okay, in other part of the countries. Now, what makes this guy vulnerable is that improper configuration. Okay, improper configuration, and also lack of upgrade, because a lot of people, they don't upgrade to the latest version of the software, or they don't update probably the hardware or upgrade the hardware of the likes. Let's see. Okay, source 1, let's say source 5. So you can see these are street views of different countries. Okay, these are street view of different countries. Okay, you could zoom in, and zoom out. Okay, these are different. So these are live view. These are live. Okay, then we have in. Okay, so let me check in other webcam. We also have in. Let me check webcam. I think WebX. That's the name. So webcam. Okay, I'm just going to type in live webcam. Nigeria. Okay, so we're going to check some live cam and see if, just to see most of the views from there. Okay, so this is Lagos camera. This is let me see page 2. Okay, so most of the cameras, most of the IP cameras are not properly configured. That's why we tend to have a lot of how am I going to put it? We tend to have a lot of vulnerable webcam. So the fun fact about Nigeria is that we have less IP cams. I think only few people do. Okay, like for example, this is an IP cam for, I don't know where this is, but I guess this is a school, and they're probably, so the cam is like actually on. The cam is on, that the camera is on, and the camera is on, and people can see whatever is going on, which is so this is like a school, I guess. This is a school. The other websites, if you search more, you're going to see a lot of websites. I don't want to dive deep into most of this stuff. Okay. Let me see. Okay, I think I saw one of these things. Secure webcam. Okay, so most of these webcam are just there, or webcam are just there to which are not secured. Okay, and you see is live. This is today's date, and that's the time. So keep the gate closed. Okay, so this is just a particular location. So imagine if this camera is in someone's house. Imagine this camera is in someone's house. You can check for the location as the longitude and latitude. So imagine if a camera is inside someone's house and you can be able to see whatever is going on in the person's house. So that's why proper configuration, proper installation of these guys are really, really important. So we could also check for other countries. Let's say, for example, United States. So, the reason why I said Nigeria is safe is because we haven't gotten there in terms of having cameras up and down. Now you can see United States like 2,282 IP cams like found that are there, and people tend to just, a lot of people have IP cams in their house, you can see this is like a baby kind of IP watch. Okay, and this is like time. So you see, people tend to have, but for Nigeria, we are not yet there yet, in the sense that we don't have IP cameras up and down, left and right in every corner of the street or every corner of the house. So proper configuration is also very important in whatever we do. Okay, so make sure that so these are manufacturers. So for example, if you are for Android manufacturers, or you can see Android manufacturers, or you can check for different vendors. I know these are mostly Chinese vendors. Okay, so I think we can call it a day from this video. So like for this is for I think this is for like a server room. Yeah, I think this is for like a server room. Can you see? So I think we can call it a day. Let's try to do more research. So it's important for you as an ethical hacker to be able to learn to do proper research on your own, proper information gathering, proper requirement gathering by yourself, ability to keep on searching, ability to keep on digging, trying to discover more things. What can be gotten? How can I go about it? What can I use? What can I do with this information I have? Okay. There are tons of, so I would encourage you to visit this website to get in more and more insights. Okay. So quick one, we have the Google Hacking Database. Now the Google Hacking Database is a platform that allows you to, so these are reported Google Dork commands or search that gives information, or like that gives legit information. Like as of 2022-9, there's this command. When I click on this, we get a report. Now this is the person that discovered it, the author and the number and the registered. Now what can you do with this stuff is it gets SQL, that's a structured query language, gets a database of an SQL of a database. Okay, and there are lots more. There are a lot of commands. For example, this author discovered this and he registered it. So you could also search on Google to see what are likely to be there. So like for WAEC, oh, let me see, I'm interested in this. So this is the admin login page for whatever website it is. I'm interested in this actually. So let's see. WAEC stands for the West African Examination Council. If you're in West Africa, you should know this exam body. Definitely you wrote WAEC. All right, so this is their portal, invalid administrator login. Welcome to blah, blah, blah. So Don't know how a website like this look. A whole body like this will have this kind of website. It's really annoying though. Okay, but you can see the lot of websites that you can explore and check out yourself. Okay, a lot of things you can check out. So I'm just going to chip in this. So this is another login page for bank, economic, blah blah blah. Now this guy is vulnerable to. He's not vulnerable actually, but an attacker can try a brute force on this if proper authentication is not there. So let me just go type in something and log in. Okay, it comes back. Now, if there's no what do you call it, section management, in the sense that if I try this for like maybe 4 to 5 times and it keeps going, then it's prone to multiple requests. I think this is like the 4th time I'm doing it. So now I can create a word list, or I can try brute force attack on this guy. Let me just put it that way. Okay, so this Google hacking database, you could explore the Google hacking database and see varieties of commands that have been discovered by people and how they can be exploited or what they can be used, like pages containing login page, file containing juicy information. So let's see this one. Let's see this. So file containing juicy information, index.portal. Definitely you are seeing juicy information. Okay, so all right, so I think we get the concept of Google hacking or Google, but let me emphasize on one more thing. We have the Google advanced search. So what we've been doing is we've been typing the text, and that is the parameters and what we want, and it's going to fetch it out. You could also do an advanced Google search here by just typing, by querying this guy, Messi. Let me see, region. You could just do an advanced search, fill in this form, and just click on advanced search. You should get a better result. Okay, it gives you a better result. All right. So I think I've been able to cover Google Dorking. So you can visit more of this website, or visit this website. Simply, there are really good resources online that will really help you to dive or understand more concept of ethical, the Google Dorking. All right. So thank you all for staying tuned or joining. All right. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and tell a friend to tell a friend that stay safe out there on the internet. Learn, do not overshare. Learn to keep private information private. And peace out.